that there's some key dangers on the internet that we should watch out for. Things like online scams, romance scams. Recently, actually, someone sent a picture Ngaweleza sent to one of the film stars out, and you know, like the people use different softwares to come up with an image, like it can come up with your face and we be talking, but when you're not me. Yes, so those are romance scams, and this person has been sending in money. It's later she notices, okay, onomchala onomsajja siye and inappropriate content, cyberbullying, and then the faulty privacy settings that Stuart was talking about.
And also looking at the report from the Financial Intelligence Authority 2023-2024 for that year, for the financial year 2023-2024, it says that 245 cases were reported. Cases of cyber crimes were reported to police in just that financial year of 2023-2024, and of course the losses that were done in only financial fraud on the internet, it amounted to 1,443,000,000 Uganda shillings, and only 377 millions were retrieved. So actually that's how intense it can get. And when you also look at Daily Monitor of 5th April 2024, it says 19.2 billion was stolen in cybercrime in just 2022.
You know, and very, you know, that is a picture of what happens in people's lives. We have seen continuously people come out and say their money has been lost, they have been scammed online. Just yesterday, someone called me via WhatsApp, and the number was from Indonesia, and the person was telling me, hey, you have been referred as the best person, and we have a job for you here, you'll be earning 300K per month. And then you ask yourself, where did this person get my number? Because of that syndicate, you find that someone is using another number from another country to maybe take whatever they want. Leave alone that. I don't know why yesterday was yesterday. I received, like, now the tricksters in Kampala have changed. Nowadays they send you a message, Susie, and they tell you, even the person had the guts to say, honey, you have successfully you have successfully been shortlisted, you know, for this particular job. So please come for the, you know, appointment and all the CV and all that. But you look at every single day that these tricksters are becoming more smarter, and the crimes people like are navigating, especially in the area of tech. Because when we talk about cybersecurity or cybercrime, we are talking about the safety, your safety online. And G, you mentioned something really paramount, that from COVID, the usage of internet has skyrocketed. We didn't see online studying or schooling, but now you find that only students, maybe pupils in the central region, have also accessed online education during COVID. But every single day these days, things are becoming more online. Someone says, we do a bridal shower, let's form a WhatsApp group. You need this, I can send you the money from my bank to your account. But people are not on the outlook of how safe they are every single day as they do those activities, from finances, your daily living, and how can you build this more security barricade around you.
But Angel, you talked about, you're wondering how they access our information. Now, look at this. When it comes to our information, it's remember when we're using the internet, we usually leave our information out. The emails, and these are things that we don't usually focus on. The emails, because most applications, to access them, you must disclose your email actually. Now in that way you give out all your information, phone numbers, and we don't know how far does our information go. Like, how many people do you actually have access to our information when it comes online? Because different people operate these applications.
Susie, hold it right there, because for you to open an account, you find that you have to give your details and your email. So you give you give access to an application you
Yes,
don't know,
you don't
which
know.
accesses your name, which accesses your date of birth, your location, and if
All your
maybe
data.
Google is giving you, Stuart, where you have been in the past month or maybe February, someone maybe in the UK can be able to track you down and maybe do whatever they want to do.
But also, we don't even know who is behind this app.
That's true.
So many people operate in the app, and they don't guarantee. Yes, they will tell you your information is safe with us.
Yes.
But how sure am I that it's actually safe
But
with you?
there are also those apps that you would think probably are safe. Because you are a layperson, it might be very different for you to know whether this is the authentic app or not. Because recently there is something we call cloning. Someone can clone an app. Now there is something, dear viewer that watches us, there is something we call phishing. Now online phishing, now with phishing, someone will go clone a web application, a website, an app like WhatsApp or Twitter, whichever it is, and they'll give you a link. You will go access the app thinking you will log into it, thinking it's the normal app you've been using, it's your normal Facebook you've been using, it's your normal Twitter you've been using, it's your normal Instagram, and now you'll give in information. Now the moment you log into it, it will immediately bring you, it will immediately give out your data and all your records to this person who is behind this app. So most of the times it becomes a bit hard, but it's just for you to know that you have to pay attention to these simple nitty-gritties, these simple things. For example, out of the blue, you're trying to access, let's say, Instagram, and out of the blue, Ogendo Kulaba, you're logged out, and the app is requiring you to log in. There might what you call or something. Most of the time you have to go back and check out probably the email, and but it's always in these simple things. Now, for example, there are all these messages that keep coming in your WhatsApp groups. Uganda government is giving out free aid. UN is giving out free aid. Always look out for such things, because in most of the cases that's when we have to be.
You know, I would Stuart, that is abantu okubanga bagala ebintu byobwerere something. Abantu bangi ebintu byobwerere free data 50 GB. Someone is sending it across other WhatsApp, and that's why we have seen people's phones hooked. But I would like us to point out those cyber crimes one at a time. If it is identity theft, if it is cyber fraud online, I would want us to really break them down for our audience to understand all these different ranges.
The most common is cyberbullying. Now, with cyberbullying, it's the use of electronic communication to bully a person, typically by sending messages of intimidating or threatening nature. This is one of them. And it has different examples, actually. You could be wondering, what is cyberbullying? Okay, yeah, I get that, but what are some of the examples?
Cyber, sounding among technical, but
online,
Stuart, would you want to just it's just basically online?
Well, the cyber literally, it's just online, or you would call it like I would say someone using the internet to do something. That's why we have cyber security, cyber bullying, online bullying, internet bullying. That's literally the meaning. By the way, you will see those days, Jean maybe can remember, we used to have something called cyber school, online school. Yes, so it's literally online or internet, over the internet. Yes.
Well,
but we have, you are still going
the
on, all right.
examples, we have posting rumors on social media, which very many people can be experiencing. Let's talk about the celebrities in the nation. Until different information comes out, it's wrong.
Yes.
And people just post, they don't even bother to find out, is it true? We've seen different people whose videos have been let out on the internet, and sometimes these may not even be the real people. Someone went and played with the video and they came up with something. Or someone actually went in their phones and they released their video without their permission. That is cyberbullying. Then that is sharing someone else's private information, because also those videos, they are private.
Yes.
And people have the habit of hacking into people's information or people's phones, making threats against someone online. Someone comes up, makes certain threats against you. Most times you don't even know who they are. That is cyberbullying. And creating fake accounts, posting information to embarrass someone.
Wow.
And this is something that people do, because here in the when it comes to internet, for you to access most of the applications, you should be 18 years and above. So when someone has all this information, that okay, so I can create another account as long as I'm 18 years old, or I have the necessary information. Very many people create such accounts and they use them to embarrass other people online.
Wow. Oh, that's quite interesting. But wait, I can also talk about cyber sniffing. Now, cyber sniffing is stealing sensitive information, you know, from someone's account and using it. When they've not, of course, when they've stolen it, they will use it without any authorization or consent. So you find that a lot of information, you are asking yourself, how did they even get my number? That means they went to some place, they picked this number, and now they are calling you. And then they can also get information, sensitive information, your date of birth, your a lot of sensitive information can be used.
Your point, olabira dala wawo accounts zetugulawo online, maybe you're applying for a scholarship or something, nekubuza all those details like where you stay, your location, your number, your next of kin. I think that is part of the sensitive information you're talking about.
Exactly. So someone steals it and comes and uses it without consent. And of course, against you. So you find that you are also in the trap, you know. And even talking about that, because these days you don't even know if the university you're even applying to, maybe for that particular, you know, scholarship, is if that is the website anyway itself, because they are there and someone has sent it and they are saying it worked for them, but by the time they just change something very small, it can be a dot and they just put a comma. So you don't even notice. Every other thing is the same, but just, you know, exclamation.
Actually, on that, I think let's also get this out of the way. Most of the time, how you literally find out on whether on whether this is authentic or not. You look at the first thing that you need to look out for. There is something we call a uniform resource locator, or a URL. Now, normally on these messages they send you free data. There is click on this link, that thing they call a link. There is always something at the beginning of that link, HTTP or HTTPS. Now that is a hypertext transfer protocol, which is a protocol that helps you to transfer text and data between you and the other person and the other party. Now, if it's authentic, mark this, always there will be an S, because we are no longer using hypertext transfer protocol alone, but now we use hypertext transfer protocol secure. Now, if the S is not there, that is a question mark already.
It may not even be the S, but also there's a padlock. I think I've seen on that website as
you're beginning. Now, also look out for the numbers they give you. It's very hard for an authentic organization, more so international organization. Now, for example, universities. It's very hard for someone a kueleza Gunda account here. Probably they will give you an email that you respond to, and it's .gmail or .yahoo or to any other email service. That is a question mark already. Sometimes ojakulabanga like bakuteredeke number for probably if it's maybe Uganda, ojakusanganga they are using 07 something something. That is also a question mark. It's very hard for an authentic organization to use normal numbers like you. At least there will be something that looks official about it.
Get it.
And sometimes one of the things you also look out for most of these things, it's language gye bakozesezza. Bw'obanga oli keen enough ng'osoma ebintu, you will know that this is official language. There are certain typos something official can't have.
Sure.
I think you are echoing, especially when it comes maybe to emails, you know, when you. But getting back into the different cyber crimes, there is we are becoming more comfortable with online banking. But you, as the users of these phones, are not understanding how we are growing at stake every single day with the data we give to these companies that are to help us ease our life. But online fraud is just one of those cyber crimes.
Yes.
And we see that, G, you mentioned you've got that scholarship, and they tell you, well, to process your admission, you have to pay maybe some $50. Before even we go to dollars, no one for Uganda. Maybe an email that, like we use that example of the SMS. You can imagine how someone even has the guts to call you honey. Have you know, your CV has been
inappropriate
because
language.
using the word honey creates a form of phishing that me and you know each other before, or I'm your OB and I like you, you know, I'm your OG, we met at the party last time. But when it comes to online fraud, especially maybe using digitally, your security of your phone, you're making those transactions, but is that the only password you have? And what kind of password do you have? Is it your date of birth? You know? So all these things looking together that extensively every other day, bwetubanga tetwekanya ku bintu byetukola, tukyakubera nga tweyongera placing ourselves at stake.
That is very true, but we should also let our people know that there are laws. There is a law in Uganda, and there is one that really stood out last year, which is the Computer Misuse Act. Yes, which was, you know, put up so that all these things can be curbed, because there was a lot of hate speech that was circulating on the president, ministers, high-profile people, and, you know, putting out information that was really private. It was someone's nudes are pushed out there, and everyone you would find people really cocooned and circled, all because of what, but it was because there was nothing that was so strong to hold it together. But I love the fact that the government came out very strongly and put up this Computer Misuse Act. But also it went ahead to also institute the National Cybersecurity Strategy from 2022 to 2026. And this one basically is to use Uganda's approach to enhance cyber security, and this is a long-term process because you can hear it is from 2022 to 2026, you know, so that all these things are put into play so that at least there is some sort of control. Otherwise it was getting haywire.
And you know, to add on that, yesterday in yesterday's News Daily Monitor, a lady was talked about. This lady has been using bad language against the president and his son, and she was taken in. She was taken it because she was giving out, you know, yes, we understand people can hate, but you don't go on social media and throw those kind of things. She was taken in, and and yesterday she actually got bail, but she still came up saying, I have a freedom to say what I want.
We also want to remember what happened to Stella Nyanzi. Yes, you'd also want to remember there was a young man, I think it was around the beginning of 2020, around the end of 2023. We had a young man social media, mostly TikTok, calling himself Pressure 24/7.
Yes.
Yes, who actually threw a lot of tantrums using abusing language against the Kabaka of Buganda. Yes.
I remember.
And of course, the Computer Misuse Act worked against him, and actually it's to let people out there know that actually it's very active.
It is.
And
very
if you're
active.
caught into acts that are misusing information and cyberbullying, it will work against you.
And you remember also, I think some few years ago, the first video that caught people's attention, then for Martha K, and that's when the government came out. They're like, you know what, you people, enough. Whoever does this, they have to be punished. Unlike nowadays.
Auntie Kat, now where I think the problem comes in is when the person will say, I didn't release the things myself.
Exactly.
Is it
Yeah,
my
but
account that
they
released
go
it?
to the
They just
ground.
leaked.
But
They go to the ground.
But you
to
know,
see.
Stuart, you gave us the cybercrime report of 2023-2024. And when you look at the 284 cases,
Yeah.
this, I feel, is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, actually,
Because
just to clarify, it's 245.
245 is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are so many cases that go unreported.
yes.
Yeah,
How many people have
don't
lost
say.
their maybe money? You know, how many people have been bullied? You spoke about the romance scams. You find that 245 in a nation of 45 million people is not okay. This can just be a representation, but I feel 14% is just a little more. Na ye wotunolia security yafe online cyber security, it still needs more effort, more funding, more boys to be brought on board, because if we are abandoning, look at Bank of Uganda. Yes, we know when you look at the investigation, 60 billion Ugandan shillings was lost. Now, yet continuously there has been this Patrick from Centenary Bank earlier this year in January. Yagamba he had his 3 million and was working all the way in Dubai. Nagamba sente ze zava kwa account tamanyi jezalaga.
Yes.
Kati bwotunulira 245 cases. Zendoza, this is just like 10% of the unreported
10% might even be too long, but you know there are even people who go ahead and use harsh and rough words even on children, and they go and get their pictures, their schools, and because they want to punish that one parent that maybe they are working with, and well, they don't like their place of work. But I like the way the US government comes up and puts up you know, online safety measures. For example, it has stopbullying.gov, gov, where the government, it is a government resource, and it is for parents, children, and the government, that in case of any cyberbullying on a child, on a parent, they report directly. They go to this website, they send in their information and whatever crime has been committed, and the government strictly handles that case. And I think we need to see some of these happening in Uganda, because we've not seen much.
You see, since we are now, the world has evolved. We are so much on the internet. As you say that now it increased from the time of COVID-19. You realize that these applications, as I told you, leave a lot of data, photos about you, your children, your family. So it also gives this person who wants to do whatever they want access to get the photo. I mean, we've seen people, especially in big places, who want to be threatened. They just get a photo of your child and they send it. Isn't this your child? Anything can happen because they're blackmailing you to send a certain amount of money.
Yes.
So even online, yes, we're online, but we're not safe.
True.
Our information is out there. Look at the apps that we use, Instagram. It's very hard to find someone with a page of Instagram and they don't have a picture there of a relative, because we display our daily life.
Susie, I want to appreciate that particular point of view that you've brought in. But when you look at data privacy, even when you click the other, do you know that we don't read that that whole long, let me call it that whole long thing.
Yes,
We just scroll and wait for the other part of
Accept.
Next,
Agree.
agree to the terms and conditions.
But you don't understand what is inside here because our data, our information that, hey, Susie stays in this particular place, she has this particular job, data itself is one of the highest paying things globally. When you get that example of social media and people are opening accounts every single day.
Even for their children.
Even for their children.
From the age of baby.
3 years,
Baby.
even a baby.
But it was because of that online learning, really.
No. June, like I
Even
give birth,
Instagram, yes.
I start a page for my child.
Oh, wow.
From the time they're 1 day old.
But I feel Ugandans need to understand that in the era that we are in, you are only safer.
Yes.
Because the much information that you are giving out every single day, you're placing yourself at stake. And there's another company out there whose account is just, the dollars are moving higher and higher and higher.
Can you imagine?
But Angel, you mentioned something very serious. But let us also remember that the terms and conditions that are put on those before you come and click that I accept or go. And these people who collect our information will not let you proceed until you accept that. But now there are so many. They are in small letters. So kwegamba omuntu ne bwabanga ayagala okubisoma bimale yagamba okay, because you're filling in a very important form and you say, okay, Kale, I think I am safe because it is a scholarship. I think I am safe because I'm just signing in for a university.
And some of them, there is a time limit.
There is a time limit. So, no gambo why? Kamale gamba, yes, I accept. Naye ngogendo kwesaga. I accept. You're signing your life away.
But at least I think it's going to be like in the next 5 years. There is going to be a change. I'm sorry for chipping in that.
No, it's okay.
Right now we've been working on
Web
2, World Wide Web. What we call
WW.
Yes, and now we are going on to Web 3.
Okay.
That is going to utilize blockchain technologies.
Break it down. What does Web 2, Web 3?
We've been on stages.
Yes.
We've been in
just
stages.
the way we've been on 2G, 3G, 4G.
Exactly,
okay.
yes. Now we are going into Web 3. And now with Web 3, it's going to be utilizing blockchain technologies, actually where you're going to be paid for your data. Now the way it is, your phone, your Google is going to collect your data. That is why Google has your location, even if you don't enable location on your phone. It has your location, which is a threat to someone who can access it. And now, in the time to come, they will have to pay you, because they sell your data to all these other companies. That is why you'll be on Facebook, and before you know it, you met a certain person, and you just met them in person, but now they are bringing them to you as a friend, suggestion. People you may know. Why? Because while you were moving with your phone, the locator located that you were with someone, and now they sold your data to Facebook. And all these people that develop products, they sell them your data so that they can develop products specifically curated for you.
Stuart, just adding on that, if I enter a cyber criminal's mind, Susie Stewart, twagala nnyo ogenda ku Facebook. You give your details. You went to this school. You went to that. You worked in this particular place. When someone is trying to crack you down, they locate for a common ground.
Yes.
Nabagamba oli mu Rotaract, oli mu Rotary Club. Which particular one? Okay. So they come for this particular day, and then they begin to interact with you, yet they're sniffing you quietly.
Actually,
without
to
you
add
knowing.
on what he said, now that it makes sense now, because Usually, let's say like at the end of the month, there is a time when they give you a report. You can imagine, we hardly put location, but they can tell you, February, you've been to these places.
True.
They even show you the map. You're wondering how.
Meanwhile, going Angel, what you mentioned, it's something that most of the people, abantu are collecting data from you use even without you knowing. Meanwhile, someone who is going to bully you, someone who is going to do malicious things might not come like oyinza obutategeera, but there is something they call social engineering.
Okay.
Now this is something that happens in everyday life. Now they will collect your data from you. Someone will come into your inbox as a familiar person. Okitegeera nenga it's not them. Agenda kujja atandika okubuuza ebibuuzo. I witnessed someone, a prominent figure in this country, a young lady, bamukolako social engineering. Social engineering is someone coming to you, Angel Nenzija, nyinza obuta impersonating, but I come and I let you trust me with the bigambo byensoko kozesa, with information byensoko kozesa. Of course, there are a number of radio stations in this country that do that. Nebakubira omuntu and nze gundi and nebamujjamu information gye beetaaga, then they are like, obadde oyogera ne gundi okuva ku gundi bweti.
And you're on air, yes.
And you're on air. Now that is what they call social engineering. And they use it a lot. For example, give an instance, someone is in the bank. Omuntu agenda kujja akugambe online, agenda kujja into your inbox, or they start sending you messages, we want this and this and this. And ebigambo byagenda okukozesa bigenda kuleetera okumwesiga, and you'll give up sensitive information unknowingly. That is what they call social engineering. Tagenda kusoka kuhackinga through like gund, but they are going to come and speak to you in person to cause you to release that certain information.
You know, speaking
and
about
it happens
that,
a lot.
Speaking about that, Nango with Victoria, I think, joined us a little bit late. Cybercrime. And as one of us prepares to answer that, I would like us to also dive into the measures the government has put up, like the frameworks, the policies, and what there is for us to make sure that we are safe.
Well, before we even get to the government, there are things that we are supposed to do as ourselves.
I think for me, Victoria, who had just joined us, cybercrime is online, maybe offense that intends to take something from you, either take away your reputation or steal your money or break out something. It's more of you using your phone and interacting with the world as a person.
Yes. Well, me, I want to talk about what or as an individual, what you should do for your own security, or to avoid the cyberbullying. First thing, choose a strong password. Because, let me give you an example. You know, internet cafes are still running.
True.
I rarely use one.
Okay, yeah, but they're still running because there are things that you cannot do yourself. You may need to print, and you may need an internet cafe because not everybody has a printer at home or at office. Now, very many people come into internet cafes. When it comes to internet cafes, you pay for time. I think they start with 15 minutes. Some. Now, for some reason, in time, internet cafe, it feels like it runs differently. Now, when that time is out and you've not logged out, your information stays open. The next person to get onto that computer, you don't know who they are. The information is out. Or abamutukola stay signed in, yet that computer,
You're
that laptop,
it one time.
is being accessed by so many people. But the first thing that you should do, look out for strong passwords.
Yes.
Look out for strong passwords. Don't go for obvious passwords. Very many times to cause this date of birth. Jane could use their date of birth, phone number, but there's some apps which don't even allow that. They'll tell you put in some uppercase or upper character means some capital letters, put in maybe space, hash, and all that. And it's for your own good. It's not that they're doing it for themselves. It's for your own good, to promote your own privacy and also to be secure online. Also, that's what we mean, like avoid the obvious. Our phones. People steal our phones, and when someone steals your phone, they usually go for the obvious. She looks 20 years. Let me do the number, the date of birth, until they get into your phone. Well, keep the software and operating systems updated. Did you know that is important? Keep your stuff updated. Don't just usually, and you know, the computer is polite enough to remind us, please update your software. Please update your software. Update it, because anything can happen to you. Yeah, we talked about the key elements, the SSL, where we say that the S means security. Those are some of the things that you should look out as you check these links, or before you click on this link. Check out, does it have the S, which shows at the end, which shows that you're secure, or you're just clicking. Sometimes you get excited over these links because maybe they've told you free sponsorship. This is what you've been looking forward to. Tada, you go off free airtime. We've seen people being hacked every now and then. Their phones are being hacked, and you don't know how much data these people have access to. So be very, very careful.
Well, Angel asked something that what is, so then we have now understood cyberbullying, cyber security, cyber, sniffing and all. So what is government doing about this? And we had earlier mentioned something about the act that it has put up, but it started a long time ago. It wasn't only last year that it was instituted. So there is this Computer Misuse Act actually was first started in 2011, where it criminalizes offenses like unauthorized access. You can imagine all these things are illegal. But just like we know, reporting the cases, you may never get so far. And also electronic fraud, cyber harassment, and child pornography. And now that is where the 2011 Computer Misuse Act ended. So now in the 2022, it went further to put strict measures on the hate speech, because it was becoming too much. And you also know that our government, first of all, switched off Facebook. For the sake of having sanity, and also people stopping to give false information, especially at that time. We were in an election, and people had started releasing results. They first of all shut it down. Of course, there are ways of bypassing the shutting down, but that one would mean you pay more some money somewhere. But all those are measures that the government puts up.
At that time, I think that's when they brought in the OTT tax.
That thing disturbed us. Oh my goodness.
Yes, but it was only 200 shillings.
Don't say only.
It was only 200.
Suzy's an accountant, so she knows how much 200,000.
Yeah, but then we're students, you people.
Yes.
We're students.
You
and
put
then
your
eventually they removed the
K.
paper for airtime, you remember?
Yes.
They took it away, we had to get online, and then they told us we need to pay tax. It was a lot.
But anyway, looking at, Sue was mentioning about strong passwords, but also you always need to be careful what you do with your data. Not everything is for you. Yes, not everything is for you. Don't just log into things you don't understand, things you've not done background checks on. Sometimes kakati abantu abasinga bategedde ebinti ezo gundi ze basindika now ziri malicious. But now there are those websites ezibeerawo, web applications zogenda konga, it's just going to take your data nga tezina kyamanyi kyezigenda kuyamba. So please don't just log into anything. And now most of the websites, I think Google yasinga okukireeta, it has introduced something we call a two-factor authentication, or 2FA. Yes. Now when you have a 2FA bagenda kusooka bakusindikire message when you log into confirmation. If you've used the phone number, they will send you a code on your phone number, or if you've used the an email, they will send a confirmation code on your email. And now if you're logging into a different browser, they will, or probably you're using a computer to log into an account, and you've used your Google account, Google will want you to first, I think other sites like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, I think a few of them do that, and you'll have to first confirm with your phone to make sure that it's you, and it's you to enable that two-factor authentication on your account. So please, as you're using all these sites, as you're trying to have all these things, please make sure that you enable these authentications, because it's going to help you. It does a background security to make sure that it is you. Echirala tomala galeka information yo. Recently we had a number of people whose accounts were stolen. Abali batandise monetizing TikTok accounts and Instagram and what, and their information was taken. If you're using a web application, please close it. A web application, you're not having the mobile application on your phone, and you're just accessing that website, TikTok or Instagram, from a browser, probably through a laptop. You're using Chrome, you're using Opera, you're using, you get, please, when you get out, log it out too, so that when abantu abagenda okujja okwatakinga your accounts, tebafuna that information. Yes.
Maybe Stuart, to add on that, maybe we can remind our viewers that it's actually okay to make a report to the police, and they take it very seriously. That's how they're able to capture all the crimes that were committed via cyber security.
That is true.
So feel free to reach out to any police station, and they make a report, they make a case, they give you a number, and they actually follow it up.
But I still feel we have a long way to go when it comes to cyber security in Uganda, safety, and the public.
Maybe we should also let people know that you can block, acquaint yourself with blocking all these things that people that contact you, and you tobamanyi.
I have an example.
Them.
Recently, this person sends me messages on TikTok, and of course we end up in my WhatsApp, and we are chatting. And now twali twogera bintu birala nnyo, and before I know it, this person, I'm receiving a message that has a one-time password, or what we call an OTP. I have something, it has OTP this, and this person is telling me, can you please send me that code that has been sent into your WhatsApp? I'm like, for what? I literally, okay, I knew, the secure me knew that this person wants to do something malicious, and I'm like, what do you want it for? Nangababambi, please send it, please just send it to me, I need it. I'm like, for what? Now these people nadala wa abantu bafe omuntu ayinza okujja mugundi yo mu inbox yo ngali mukukwana, and you remember there was also something that was going on more so on Facebook. I've sent you nkusindikidde package package jenina jenjagala okusindikira, it has this and that just to help you, and this person of course does due diligence before, and they tell you nyenda kusindikira package erimu $10, but I didn't want to use Western Union to send you this, so I'm sending it in a package. It has a few other things. Please enjoy life. God has blessed you. And for our religious friends, they did that a lot to them. I remember I had a friend who guy yasoka mukwana, and the lady accepted. Nangamba pananga, I'm so excited. This guy is Italian. Before we knew it, guy making sure he built trust. And when he built trust, this lady trusted him enough, and now guy namugamba kakati, that thing I've sent it, but bagay ba DHL ogenda kwetaaga obasindikira $100 to bring it to you, because I've sent the money in the package, but please, for them, just send $100. And the lady got a loan. Mukazi watu nafuna loan. Sente zili mukujja mu package mulimu sente mwalimu $3 allegedly. and guy omwala n'asindika sente, and when she sent the money awe kyakoma. So naddayo n'amubuuza, but truly tell me the truth. Namugamba, me I'm Nigerian, I'm not Italian.
Yeah, and you know Nigeria is well known for...
Yes, Yahoo Boys, yes.
Yahoo Boys.
Nigeria is known for being the highest scamming country in Africa. But I would also still want to commend the government for the strategies they've put up. For example, the national cybersecurity strategies, you know, the capacity building workshops, they train people, you know, and G had mentioned about the Computer Misuse Act and also the Data Protection and Misconduct Act. So ebintu byonna nga bannayuganda ndoza twetaaga okuba nga tubisoma ne tubitegeera. Yes, we may have a long way to go, but these days people are having online jobs. Naye w'okitunuuliramu nti you must mind your security. Yes, you have that Google account, but me, one of the things I do to protect myself is when I go into my Google account, I turn on what we call safe browsing. Yes. So if I'm searching for information and I go to a malicious is maybe a suspicious website, it tells me you are going to a dangerous website. Do you want to continue or not? So I cancel that.
If you're downloading and it looks malicious, it will tell you blocked.
Abantu balina okutegeera nti waliwo maybe you've signed in an application, and this time around you may not give in your information. They may say, do you want to sign in with your account, your Google account? And that is usually the best option that many of us choose. Kati naye omuntu n'atamanya nti when you give it your account, you've given it authority to know even every other business, which is called the third party. So in your Google account there or any other account, mulimo third party. So mulimo also location. I usually turn off location nti omuntu ayinza okubeera nga twogera ku WhatsApp, but they are cracking down where I am. So these are just some simple basic cybersecurity things that people should look out, not giving so much information and making sure that they stay alert on every business they do on their electronic gadgets.
That's true.
Wow, but also I want to advise a person watching us there, please try to don't have more than one account, one email.
Yes. Really?
Well, yes. Yes, kino kigenda kuyamba if you can sign up for more emails in case you're signing in for something, because bobango ina email munga gyokozesa for every website that you sign into. You have this one email gyokozesa, you're signing to university, this you give out a lot of data with this email. Kachitegeeza ki nti omuntu bw'anaaba agenda ku cracking down, yetaaga just access to this one email that you use, and they will agenda kufuna data inaina go sign into with all these accounts. It doesn't have to have more than one email, and it's not illegal actually.
Or you are saying you should have more than
one
no,
email.
But more than one account, if you check in that account that you have, building another security. Another security could be your email or your phone number. That wobanga you're signing in to this account, that it's called a one-time code via SMS or kutekam. So if you're using Susie's laptop or Stuart's laptop to access your email or whatsoever you want, you must have that. You can turn on that second security within your account. But there is someone watching us, a viewer. He says, "Good morning, Sunrise crew, as we're closing. Thanks for the show. A friend sent me a link that when I tap in it, I follow the directions he was directing me, that I get money munangi. I pressed all what he told me, and they gave me 47,000 from nowhere. Wewole, yes. And after he told me there's a certain code I'm to press against so that those people of Wewole don't demand me. Guess what? After a week, I started receiving messages from Wewole, and I should pay their loan on time. And when I told him, he said, no, if you put in the code, nothing is going to happen. Now, after a month, Wewole chopped my money on the account, Banang. I haven't prepared at all. Since then, I will never press any code in my phone when I don't know about it.
Babera utilizing a certain loophole that is found in the system. But remember, gundi
may get
telecom
commission.
company bwefuna gundi loophole bwefuna loophole bagisolvingirawo kakati oli ayinza okuba nga yakozesa akagundi ako n'akozesa link eyo n'ateekamu ne that particular code nekimukolera but gwe ojja kusanga nga already loophole bamaze ogisolvinga so it won't work for you. Yes.
I think one of the most outstanding things in today's discussion is letting our viewers understand their security is paramount, especially in this generation that we are in, the technology spheres that are advancing every single day. As we have 4G, before you know it, we may have maybe 5G anytime from now. So we are asking you to continue staying cyber cautious about every activity you do on those electronic gadgets. We want to say it's been an amazing discussion this very beautiful morning, and we also do encourage you to follow us on our social media handles at Promise TV UG. The Sunrise Show is wrapping it right here, and we want to say thank you for being a great audience. We want to say we will see you tomorrow, same time, Friday, and always we have a surprise for you. From us to you, we say